It is time for Shrek! If you couldn't tell, I really like Shrek. And I cannot wait to bring you guys into this world of onions and swamps. It's a franchise that's been memed on, probably because of the shitty third film. But it's stood the test of time, even going into the, whatever you call it, the film legislation as one of the most important films. The first film to win the Best Animated Picture, that's the Oscars' excuse for not giving animated movies more Oscars. Screw the Oscars. It has stood the test of time. Generations still watch it, even if they don't watch the other DreamWorks movies. And today, I'm going to find out why everyone loves Shrek, including myself. I was only 1 year old. Shrek came out in theaters, so I didn't see it because I was a little baby. But I can't really remember a time where I didn't see Shrek. It's one of those movies that I just always watch, like Toy Story. And much like Toy Story, it still holds up the test of time. And it wasn't always that way. Shrek easily became DreamWorks' highest grossing film, and it still is number 3, only toppled by 2-bit sequels. So that's to show you how much this film has impacted the studio. And it not only did it impact the studio, but it impacted pretty much every other animated studios. Everyone wanted their own version of Shrek. They copied the formula to a T. And the funny thing is that Shrek wasn't always going to be like that. Shrek has a very well-known hard history, basically. The book purchase is based on a book, by the way. It's a very short kid's book written in 1990. It was purchased by Steven Spielberg, who wanted to make a movie out of it, but that didn't materialize till later in the 90s, where it was going to be a film starring Chris Farley of SNL fame, and the movie was almost complete, and then he tragically died, and they recast him, Mike Myers, who was actually heavily involved with the production, and reshaped the film to fit his voice of Shrek more. Of course, there's a whole storyline about the forgotten Chris Farley version, but we'll get to what version we see today, which is what we're going to review today. So one of the most famous things this movie is known for is making fun of fairy tales, specifically Disney ones. Quite literally, Shrek reads his book, and he quite literally wipes his ass with it after taking a shit.
Oh, Lord.
After that, we are then introduced to the most iconic scene in animation history. Shrek bursting out of his outhouse, itching his ass, and taking a piece of the page off his foot, while Smash Mouth's All-Star plays. For Smash Mouth, they'd be associated with Shrek the rest of their careers. R.I.P. the singer of Smash Mouth who died recently. So Shrek puts up signs to say, "Get the fuck off my property," but these villagers, these poorly rendered villagers, they decide that we want to kill an ogre, even though he doesn't even bother anybody. They're just jackasses. So the villagers decide that they're going to kill Shrek, but they don't know that he's behind them the whole time. One of the villagers gets brave and decides to attack Shrek, but it doesn't work.
Back, beast! Back! I warn ya!
Even though he warned him, Shrek doesn't give a shit and just screams in his face. For some reason, this scene right here scared me as a kid. I guess I didn't want saliva on my face. I don't know, something about it scared me. Right? I don't know why, it's supposed to be funny. Also, this is the part where you run away. So, these fairy tale creatures are getting sold because the Lord of the Land, Farquaad, doesn't want them there. And of course, this woman tries to sell Donkey, our next main character, who's voiced by Eddie Murphy, who was cast during the Chris Farley version, and he does a pretty good job here. This is probably one of his best roles. Oddly enough, he's parodying the Disney sidekick when Eddie Murphy already played a Disney sidekick in Mulan. But he does a lot better job here because he doesn't really fit Mulan, to be honest. I was like, why is Donkey in this movie? Because I saw Shrek before I saw Mulan. Also, these are great jokes in the, here. There's a lot of great jokes here, but I gotta point out the fact that Pinocchio's dad sells him.
This little wooden puppet.
I'm not a puppet. I'm a real boy.
5 shillings for the possessed toy. Take it away.
Oh, please.
No.
Also, keep in mind, there's 3 little bears here. Not 3 little bears, 3 bears from the story, 3 bears. And, keep in mind, there's Papa, Mama, and Baby. And we're going to follow them a little bit, alright? Just for this joke. The Pinocchio joke is really dark, I love it. So Donkey wanders through the, not that greatly rendered forest. The backgrounds of this movie don't really hold up, but I kind of like the way it looks. And of course, Shrek protects him, I guess, or just scares these assholes off. So Donkey becomes Shrek's new friend. And that's important for Shrek, because Shrek doesn't have any friends, or colleagues, or anybody, really.
Are you talking to... me?
Whoa.
Yes, I was.
So Shrek and the audience learn very quickly that Donkey doesn't shut the fuck up. And that's his character. He's a parody of those sidekicks that don't really do much, except for and they're annoying, but except he is really annoying, but he actually does stuff. He's actually a very important character to the plot. He's the first character that actually accepts Shrek, instead of being fearful of him. And he helps a lot in the plot, so he's actually a very important character. Of course, there's been a lot of deep dives into that. But Donkey's a great character. He could easily be... I mean, he's annoying, but not annoying to the audience. He's annoying to Shrek, but his dialogue's really funny.
Well, turn the hair out my nose, just like the time. And then I ate some rotten berries. Man, I had some strong gases eking out of my butt that day.
Why are you following me?
Fuck. So Donkey explains to Shrek why he's following him. And of course he does it in song. But Shrek isn't a musical. It plays pop songs in the background, unlike other animated movies. So he basically shuts Donkey off immediately.
But you gotta have friends. Stop singing!
So Shrek is kind of freaked out that Donkey isn't scared of him like everyone else. But at the same time, he's kind of like, oh, okay, well, he's annoying, but at least he doesn't freak out at me. It's an important part of the movie. He also reveals his name is Shrek, which is European. It's actually German for fright. So Shrek lets Donkey sleep outside because he's annoying, as he eats a nice slug. But of course, it turns out that Shrek is not alone in his house.
A lovely bed. Gotcha! I found some cheese.
Shrek discovers a bunch of fairy tale creatures have come to his house, including these dwarves, who put a dead broad on the table! That line was censored in the trailer. Also, there's a gender-confused wolf in his bed. Seeing all these fairy tale creatures makes Shrek say his iconic line.
What are you doing in my swamp?
So Shrek learns that this is all because of some guy named Lord Farquaad. And unfortunately for him, the only person who knows who Lord Farquaad is, well, they're maybe not letting on, is that Donkey's the only one. So he has to take Donkey on an epic journey to get these fairy tale creatures out of his swamp and back where they came from! We are then introduced to our very small villain, Lord Farquaad. And in case you're wondering, yes, his name literally does mean fuckwad. And he is directly based off the current CEO at that time, Michael Eisner, who was very infamous mostly for his theme park regulations, but of course, maybe Bob Iger or Bob Chekapek, whoever his name is, have given him a run for his money, because they've also done some terrible things to the company. Disney can't get a break, can it? Not only is Farquaad short, but he's also torturing the gingerbread man to figure out where the rest of the fairy tale creatures are. And one of the most iconic scenes in the movie that, I mean, I can quote word for word. Then again, I can quote every line in this movie word for word. I even did a script reading for this movie, like a long time ago. Even though the gingerbread man's one of the most iconic Shrek characters, he's only in this one scene and at the very end. But I love him, especially his voice. No, not my point! Not my gumdrop button! So Farquaad gets this magic mirror, which he stole basically, to showcase that he is a great king. But technically, he's not a king. Well, he's not a king yet. So the mirror's like, you can marry one of these princesses, so you gotta choose. And Farquaad has a hard time choosing.
Pick up a dream alone.
The Farquaad decides that he wants a redhead who likes pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. Princess Fiona. So Shrek and Donkey make it to Farquaad's castle, where Shrek realizes that Farquaad is compensating for something.
Do you think maybe he's compensating for something?
They scare this mascot, well, Shrek does, not Donkey, because Donkey's not scary. But Shrek scares his mascot to death as he runs around and dies. I'm not kidding, he dies here. He's quite dead. Just kidding, he comes back in the end of the movie, but, as a cameo, but for some reason, me and my brothers are convinced that he died here, even though he didn't. So we enter Duloc, which is basically a parody of Disney, but it doesn't really come off that way. There's some hints to that, but it always just comes off a generic German-style village, I guess. But one thing Shrek notices, and I notice too, that it's very quiet and there is nobody there.
Where is everybody?
We get a Small World parody for the Duloc Rolls, which is pretty much just an excuse for them to hint at the word ass.
On your shoes, wipe your face.
We are then treated to a picture that's actually on a shirt I own. Lovely. So Farquaad's gonna have a tournament or some of the knights may die, but that's a sacrifice that he is willing to take. So the Knights' new tournament is to kill Shrek, but they're actually really bad at it. I mean, how bad are they? Well, they get no hits on him, and the crowd starts cheering for Shrek instead. That's how bad they are. After Shrek wins the fight, for some reason the animation looks really bad all of a sudden, like a little kid drew it or something like that. I don't really know what's going on, why it looks like markers drew it, but yeah, for some reason this scene, where Farquaad tells Shrek that he has to do his mission for him, and then it'll help him clear his swamp out. For some reason it looks like a kid drew it. I don't know why. So a donkey's confused why didn't Shrek use his ogre trick by scaring Lord Farquaad, but Shrek explains that ogres are more complicated than that. And of course, this scene goes over some reviewers' heads.
Where Shrek's trying to talk about how complex he is by comparing him to an onion, and
you know what else everybody like? Parfaits. Have you ever met a person you say, hey, let's get some parfaits? They say, hell no, I don't like no parfaits. Parfaits are delicious.
No! You dense, irritating miniature beast of burden! Ogres are like onions. End of story. Bye-bye. See you later.
I don't find it funny!
In case you're wondering, the joke is, and also the explanation, is a character and a joke all in one. Shrek's trying to explain that he's more layered than just a monster, because everyone else views him that way, by saying he's kind of like an onion, has layers. Now, Donkey gets sidetracked by the layer part and just thinks about food, like parfaits. That's the joke. The fact that he keeps going on, and Shrek and them arguing about it, is what's funny. The banter. There's a lot to it, but apparently he doesn't get it. I don't know what I guess it's not went over his head. I don't get why this is such a complicated thing to understand. Every time I see this scene, I crack up, because it's so many layers, like an onion. So Shrek and Donkey journey to the castle where Fiona is, and they play this music that I always thought went a hump, a hump, a hump. That's the lyrics I thought they were. They're not that lyric. I would play it, but I would get really copyright strict for that, and this video is already going to be heavily edited. Also, Donkey pees in the fire. While crawling up the volcano, Shrek lets out a fart, and Donkey smells it.
Whew, Shrek, did you do that? Man, you gotta warn somebody before you just crack one off. My mouth was open and everything.
So they find the castle, but they gotta cross over a rickety bridge, which Donkey doesn't want to do because he's scared of falling into a boiling lake of lava. But Shrek is there for every step of the way for emotional support. Now, for some reason, this is another joke that Nostalgia Critic doesn't get. I don't know why. It's just them crossing the bridge, Donkey being scared, and Shrek's like just wants him to get over, so he can get over with the quest, so he can get his swamp back. It's pretty basic. I think it's funny. It's not long. It lasts like 2 minutes. But for some reason, it actually lasts forever. So, hey, did you guys think the bridge scene was unfunny? If so, then why? You can't just say it's boring, because it's not boring. It lasts 2 minutes, and it's funny. So, fuck. Also, if you don't like Shrek, I got 2 words for you, okay?
Shut up.
So, Donkey finds the dragon who's trying to kill him because it's a dragon, and he wants some donkey meat. Why did I say he? He! No, it's a she. So Donkey tries to flatter the dragon so that it won't eat him, but of course that works too well because the dragon gets turned on by Donkey, which is really funny. Also, this dragon doesn't have a name, it's just called Dragon. For some reason, there's a dollar store toy of the dragon that says the dragon's name's Elizabeth. I could not find this name anywhere. I watch every Shrek thing. There is no canonical reason for this dragon to be named Elizabeth. But whatever, it's just named Dragon. I don't know where the name Elizabeth. Like, it doesn't really have a name. Donkey doesn't have a name. His name's literally Donkey. He is a donkey, his name's Donkey. So why would the dragon need a name? I don't get it. So while Donkey deals with the dragon, Shrek finds Princess Fiona, who wants a kiss, but Shrek gives her a headache instead. So Fiona gets pissed off at Shrek for running her out of the castle without preparing a sonnet or a ballad for her. And of course, him being more distracted by trying to save his ass, meaning his donkey. So Shrek saves Donkey's ass by getting his ass kissed, even though the dragon wanted to kiss an actual ass, but not Shrek's ass. So they slow motion run away from the dragon. I don't know why it's slow motion there, and it's buffering. Lovely. So they get out of there alive, and Fiona wants to give Cress a big ol' smooch, but he has to take off his helmet. Shrek doesn't want to do that, but since she yells at him, he does it anyway, and she is not happy when she sees that Shrek is an ogre. I like Fiona's reaction here, because in context you can see why she has that reaction, if you know that later on the film, which if you don't know, I mean, you probably already do know, but I'm not going to let you know until later. So they make camp because Fiona locks herself in a cave, because she doesn't want them knowing her little secret that happens only at night. But for now, we assume that she's scared of the dark. So Shrek and Donkey stargaze as they think about the future they're going to have once Farquaad's done, where Shrek reveals his insecurities to Donkey.
I'm not blocking.
Oh, yes, you are.
Donkey, I'm warning you.
Who are you trying to keep out? Just tell me that, Shrek. Who?
Everyone, okay?
Oh, now we're getting somewhere.
Shrek is pissed off that the world seems to have a problem with him, even though he didn't do anything to them, so he just wants to lock them all away, because they judge him for even knows them. Fun fact, this is the only scene that is shared between the Chris Farley version and this. You can look at the Chris Farley one for yourself on YouTube, or at least the edited version of it. Remember Mama Bear? Well, there she is. She died. In a previous scene, we actually saw Baby and Papa Bear crying about it, but hey. We get the scene of Farquaad looking at the mirror for Princess Fiona. Now, why is this scene in this movie? I'll tell you why. It showcases that Farquaad has a boner. You look down there, he gets a boner, and he gets embarrassed by it. Lovely. So Fiona sings a bird, but her voice is so loud that it explodes the bird. Now, fun fact, when my fiance saw this movie as a kid, she cried at this scene because the bird died, which is really funny. So, the next day, Fiona decides to be nicer to Shrek after hearing his sob story while secretly. But of course that doesn't really help because, for some reason, Robin Hood comes in. So Robin Hood tries to simper Fiona, but she doesn't want anything to do with his French ass for some reason. If for some reason he has a French accent, despite the fact that Robin Hood has been a British character since his inception, I don't know why. I mean, he's directly connected to a real-life historical British king, so why is he French? Why? So Fiona decides to beat up the merry men by using the Matrix. And yeah, that's what happens. You know, it's Kung Fu. We get a montage of Shrek and Fiona slowly falling in love with each other. Because they actually have a lot in common, because they like gross shit. Also, here's a scene that scared me as a kid. These balloons floating away, I thought, duh, I want to float away! Why did I think that? I have no idea. Shrek also impresses Fiona with his amazing cooking skills. He can make a mean weed rat stew. Meanwhile, Donkey discovers Fiona's secret. She is an ogre. Well, an ogre at night. She got a spell cast on her, which everyone has a theory that involves the second movie. So we'll talk about that theory when we get to that second movie. Shrek wants to give Fiona a flower, but he overhears Donkey and Fiona and thinks they're talking about how he's ugly. And there's a misunderstanding where he gets all upset and his ears droop, and they mope and dope for the rest of the movie until they realize they're stupid. This is considered the worst part of Shrek, is the misunderstanding part. It's very cliched, and it doesn't... Usually Shrek goes away from cliches and makes its own new tropes, but here it follows the same romantic comedy trope. Oh, the misunderstanding. Luckily it doesn't last that long. So Shrek walks away from everything that's good in his life. He even berates Donkey because he thinks Donkey's against him too.
Yeah, you know what? You thought wrong!
So Fiona and Shrek mope and dope now because they don't like each other or some bullshit like that. While the song Hallelujah plays for some reason. This song is a very famous song, but every time I hear it, I think of this scene where Shrek's crying at the table. I'm not joking. So Donkey comes back to fight with Shrek, or more like say, "You're an idiot! Fiona loves you! And I actually do too!" And I guess that convinces Shrek after he calls him Onion Boy. Well yeah, Donkey befriended Dragon again, because Dragon escaped, and yeah, they got a nice ride to Duloc. So Shrek wants to stop the wedding, because of course it's a wedding. And we get a nice zoom up with their eyes, which doesn't look that great for 2001, but whatever. But of course, the Donkey messes it up, and he does it. He objects after the ceremony is already over, which is kind of...
Oh, now what does he want?
Doing here?
Really, it's rude enough being alive when no one wants you, but showing up uninvited to a wedding...
So Shrek confesses that he likes Fiona, and Farquaad laughs at him, and the audience laughs at him. Quite literally, he laughs at him. Because Farquaad's a jackass. They even play the laugh card, which they apparently had. So Fiona decides that she's also going to reveal her secret. Her secret that she is, in fact, green. And Farquaad does not like what his wife actually looks like. Or wife to be.
Oh, it's disgusting!
So Farquaad wants to kill all ogres, but he gets devoured before he can do anything. So Shrek and Fiona kiss finally. And the crowd goes awe. So Fiona doesn't transform back to a human, she stays an ogre.
Understand? I'm supposed to be beautiful.
But you are beautiful.
We then see Shrek and Fiona's wedding in the swamp, which is our first ever dance party ending in an anime movie. Well, technically Toy Story 2 also had one, but this one pioneered it for every movie to do it. Here it makes sense. It's a wedding. People are going to be dancing. But some movies, like the fucking Emoji Movie, why are they dancing? But yeah, Shrek ends right here. Well, it would end right here, but technically it continues on to Shrek 3D, or The Ghost of Lord Farquaad, which I'm not going to be covering since it's not a full-length film. Anyone else see that movie? Or go on that ride? That follows up directly after this. Not Shrek 2. Shrek 2 comes after that. But also, there's this weird karaoke dance party, if you have the VHS or the DVD bonus feature, where it's them singing songs. I'm not going to count that, so it doesn't really matter. It's not as good as Far Far Idol, let's just say that. And yeah, that's the end of Shrek. My rating for Shrek is our first 10 out of 10, 5 stars out of 5, 10. There are minor flaws. The misunderstanding is a problem, but the rest of the movie is so good, I don't care about the misunderstanding. And the only other problem it has is the animation is a little dated, but I like dated animation. If it looks dated, but it's from a time period, I don't mind. I actually like that. If it looks dated and it's from modern times, then that's not good. That's not good. So yeah, Robin Hood's French for some reason. That's very minor. It's kind of more. It's more funny than anything. And then Misunderstanding, which is not very great, but at least it's kind of funny and iconic. So hey, Shrek is pretty much one of those great films, and it changed animation forever. Every studio other than Disney and Pixar, even Disney to some extent, other than Pixar basically, was emulating Shrek. It was that influential, and it basically defined the DreamWorks style. They would copy it for all the movies. The next two movies were going to be 2D animated movies, and they did not do well until the next Shrek movie, which saved the studio, which we'll get to that when we get to that. But Shrek is great, and even though I like the 2D animated movies, you can see why they did the 3D, because this one was such a huge success, and it's really good. Even though the 2D movies are good, Shrek is better than them, and it works with being in CGI. Though I would have liked to see what the Chris Farley version would have looked like, even if I doubt it would be any better than what we got here. Ad blocker sucks. Why is it not blocking this ad? Screw it. It won't even work on YouTube anymore. Anyway, this is our new tier list. Shrek obviously goes in the top, and we're probably not going to see another one top that for a little while, maybe. So Farquaad technically isn't the best villain. However, for what purpose he serves is being funny, he's really funny. Like, the short jokes, I guess some people might not like that. I'm average height, so it doesn't really bother me. His weird design, the fact his name is literally Fuckwad, his delivery on all his lines. He's a funny character, so he goes in A tier. Everyone remembers Lord Farquaad, even if he's not, doesn't do that much. He doesn't have much presence on the plot, to be exact. He starts the plot, but he doesn't have much conflict with Shrek himself, honestly speaking. That kind of makes him interesting a little bit. Also, he gets a boner in the movie. What else can you say? That's the end of this video. If you like it, you can become a member of my Patreon, link in the description. I need some money so I can buy more Shrek merchandise. Thank you for watching.